Alright, so as you guys already know, you've read the title. Today's video, we're going to be changing out the AC clutch bearing in a 1987 Toyota 4Runner. And this video is pretty much going to apply to anything with a 22 RE. Here's the AC clutch bearing. I picked it up from AutoZone. It was only 12 bucks. I may start linking the part numbers in the description in the future for the videos in case you guys want to. Right now I'm not gonna do it. Let me know, leave a comment if you guys want the part numbers for certain stuff. I can always easily just write down the part number for you guys. So what's been happening lately is pretty much at all times whenever I turn the truck on, after a couple minutes of running around, I'll get like a metal grinding, squealing kind of a noise. It sounds just like a bearing going out. And I'll take you guys out there and show you in the engine bay when I have the truck on in a second. But it's coming from the AC clutch, that area. The clutch still seems to be good, but when we pull it apart, we'll take a look at all that, and I may need to replace that. So the first step is going to be to unbolt your skid plate, if you still have one, underneath the vehicle here. It's just 4 bolts, one there, one over there, one back there, and one back there. So the next step, there's a couple different ways you can go about it. I'm gonna try to not bother removing all of the radiator hoses and the fan shroud. I'm gonna try to remove as little as possible. So right now, I'm gonna try to break the AC clutch bolt loose while I still have the bolt on the pulley up there. Let me see if get you guys to see it. There's a bolt right in here inside the AC clutch, and you could use air tools, or some people try to just smack a long wrench with a hammer, try to grab the AC clutch with a vise. I'm just gonna try to break it free right now while I've still got the pulley engaged with the belt and everything. That should kind of hold it in place. And then I'll loosen up the pulley and kind of take the belt off, and then we'll pull off everything else from there. All right, I'll let you know how it goes. So let me show you guys how I got the AC compressor clutch bolt off without having to use any power tools or a pulley tool or something like that. All I used was a screwdriver and this breaker bar, just because it was longer. You could do it without a breaker bar, just a simple ratchet. It's a 12mm bolt on the center up there, and all along the front. Well, so here's the problem. So, well, if this was still tight, whenever you turn this bolt, the whole pulley is gonna turn with it. The clutch, actually, it's not the pulley, sorry. The clutch will turn with it. It's not being held by the pulley or the belt because the clutch isn't engaged right now. So what I did, there's all these ridges along the side of the front of the clutch. So all I did was stick a screwdriver in this hole. There's another ridge here. There's a bunch of little divots all along the side of here. I stuck the screwdriver in here while I pulled the ratchet one way to tighten it or loosen it, while holding the front plate of the clutch in position, and that was able to break the bolt free. Okay, so next step, we took off the one of the serpentine belts, and here's the pulley tension release for the AC unit, which is right up here. This is the belt. I have it drooped down. All it is 2 bolts. You loosen up the one on the front of the pulley, and then you loosen up this bolt back here, and that's going to allow it to drop in, and then you can just slide the belt right off. And then when you're ready to put it back on, you just tighten this one up and tighten this one up as well. And that'll pull, well, you wrap the belt first, and that'll pull the tension. It'll pull it down and pull everything tight around each pulley. Here's the AC clutch. Another thing to watch out for is right up in here, there's the AC compressor, the pulley on the front. There are a couple spacers inside there. You guys can probably see them better than me. See them right back there on the end of that bolt. You want to make sure you don't lose those. There could be 1, could be 2. I don't know how many are in there, but keep that in mind. You want to make sure that has the right distance between the clutch and the actual mating surface of the clutch here. And those spacers, that's what they're going to help do. If you mess them up and you don't have the right distance in between it, you could have slipping issues, or it could constantly always be engaged. So keep that in mind. All right, so I wasn't able to see the snap ring on the front of the pulley. There's a snap ring right in here. I could see it on my phone with some pictures, but I couldn't get the pliers up in there to actually get it some sight on it and be able to pull it off. So I'm unbolting the compressor to see if I can just tilt it downward. Right now, we're up at the front of the truck. To take off the compressor, it's only 4 bolts. They're sticking out right now. There's one, there's the other one down here, another one back here, and then the last one is right back there. There's that snap ring I was talking about, guys. I ended up actually taking the battery out, pulling the compressor up this way, and then holding it with one hand, and pulling the snap ring out with the other and the pliers. Okay, so here's the pulley. The pulley, is the bearing back there. This was off the front of the AC compressor. And looking at it, I think the bearing is actually okay. You can see the bearing back there, held in by those little retaining clips. So when I spin it, you can you can barely hear it making a little bit of a noise, but the bearing actually feels okay to me. Now that I think about it, that metal grinding noise I was hearing, it's gonna be the clutch, actually. I think it's the distance between the AC clutch and this pulley. When they connect together, I think they're just dragging on each other because there's not enough of a gap. If you look down in here, you can kind of see the inside there where the little spacer sits is a little bit beveled, and I just don't think there's enough clearance in there. So I got another shim from the junkyard, and I'm gonna go ahead and add in the shim and just see if that takes up the extra distance and see if that stops the noise. If not, I'll probably just replace the whole clutch, pulley, bearing, everything all at once. Here's what the snap ring looks like installed. It's right down there. Just make sure it's all the way seated in. Make sure it's pushed down on all sides, and then we're gonna keep going. This is the shim, and it's gonna actually sit right on here. Just like that. That's where it goes. And then what we're gonna do is slide the clutch right on top here, on top of the pulley. But there is a key. It has to go in a certain way. If you notice, there's a little notch there, and then there's a notch right down on there. Line them up and just push it down, and then you can tighten the bolt on top of that. There's a little lock washer, and then the bolt, that's gonna tighten down at about, I think it's 12 foot-pounds, 11 or 12 foot-pounds. Okay, I just slid the washer. I just slid the clutch on, and then there's the washer right down there. Now I'm just gonna put the 12mm bolt back on. And then I'll probably go ahead and tighten it down from up here just because it's a little bit easier to get to. We'll tighten it down from here. Then we'll go ahead and re-bolt the AC compressor back up to its bracket. And then just hook up the pulley, tighten it down, put the battery back in, and we'll fire it up and see what happens. Okay, here it is all bolted back up, and it's just the 4 bolts to put in the compressor right back onto its bracket. I'm gonna attach this little wiring deal back up, but that's just a wiring loom for the rest of the car. Now all I gotta do is run the belts, tighten the pulley, and we'll see if this clearance right in there, hopefully I created enough clearance, not too much, so that the clutch can still engage and disengage and not constantly be scraping. But it sounds pretty good right now. I don't think it's gonna be squealing, so we'll see. Okay, so far I'm not hearing any noise. I'll go ahead and get you in next to the AC compressor. It's all, the air conditioning's off right now. I'll show you right now, and then I'll keep on the air and we'll see what happens. All right, now let's hit the air anything happens. So for now, we're not hearing any noise, and the AC clutch is engaged. So let's see if we've got cold air, and we've got cold air in here. Oh, the dinosaur mascot.